So can you tell me, Yvonne, something a little bit about the origins of the pictures?
I was reading Book of Dreams by Jack Kerouac, which was published by, I can't remember, it's
City Lights,
City Lights, which is a bookstore in San Francisco,
right,
in 1961, and it's basically his dream diary, is what I gathered from reading it, and I became really engrossed in it. His words are so visual, and they really inspired me to start working on this particular group of paintings. They're darker than my usual palette, because the writings are dark, and I mean they're dreamlike and almost stream of consciousness, and to me that really reflected how you paint as well.
So tell me about making the leap from being stimulated by Kerouac's writing to the palette, to the choice of color.
Well, he talks a lot about railway towns, riding the rails, living in kips, like with the rest of the subterraneans, and you know, their drugs, their booze, guns, sex, and it was all very dark. It seemed to me, and like as if it was overshadowed by like the fog of looking at your memories of the past, and that really made me want to go dark, but with glimmers of light, like the...
Yes, you seem very fond in this collection of this beautiful burnished gold color.
Yeah.
Can you trace color sources, or is it just very intuitive at the moment?
It's just intuitive. When I mix the colors, I test them all out just to make sure they look good together. And I keep mixing them until they reach an intensity or a palette that I think works well together. I try to balance a number of lights and a number of darks.
When you find a suite of colors that you're quite interested in, you tend to play them out for a while? You get a lot of work out of them?
I usually do one series with that particular palette. So one show, and what you don't see here is the works on paper that are the build-up to the show.
Actually I was going to ask you, you don't look like the sort of painter to me who actually draws in terms of making a sketch for a painting, but I know you do make works on paper, but do you prepare studies for larger paintings?
No.
That's what I thought.
No, they're works.
They're works in their own.
Yeah. And usually some of them come beforehand, a lot of them come after because I'm using up the leftover paint. So I have to be thrifty.
Yeah,
I don't make that much money.
Now I know, sort of balancing, contrasting with this beautiful hot gold, there is a great expanses of turquoise, green, blue, essentially not subterranean as in the Kerouac sense, but underwater colors basically. Now, do they have a source? You mentioned something perhaps about your travels.
Yes, I was living in China for 3 months, and where I was in the central lowlands, which is semi-tropical. It was basically summer until the end of November, and it turned into winter overnight. But the countryside there is filled with lakes and ponds and rivers, and they're all this color.
Wonderful.
And it's something to see. It's quite incredible. There's also a lot of mist and there's a lot of green because there's willow trees everywhere.
So when you're there on such a location, are you painting then, or are you making sketches in notebooks? Are you making color notes to yourself, like do a lot of pictures with this watercolor?
I actually had a couple of small notebooks, and I wrote about the color combinations, but I didn't actually paint any of them. Even though I brought supplies with me, I was too busy looking.
That's nice. So it means that when you come back home, you have to carry the sense of these colors in your head and then somehow evoke them in the studio.
Yes, exactly. Make them happen.
Well, it's a splendid show. Thank you.
Thank you, Gary.